Today I'm going to talk to you about the different energies of spirit, so how to tell what's around you, and when is it a good idea to get rid of or kick that spirit or being out of your home, and when is it okay to leave them there. So first, let's just talk about ghosts. So ghosts, I just mean that soul, the spirit of somebody who was a human walking around on this earth. So a ghost can have different energies. So for me, when I'm around a ghost that has maybe a neutral energy, so saying that they're not necessarily bad or good, they're just there, that feels to me a little bit heavy, but it's not too bad. Maybe I'll feel it a little bit in my chest or in my head, or maybe just a little bit in my stomach, but there's no fear attached to it and there's no gut pulling or pressure in my head. So neutral spirits, they're typically, you do want to get them out of your house because even though they're not doing harm to you, they're actually pulling down your energy a little bit. So they're at a lower vibration, so that does drain you. I was just talking to somebody the other day when I did her home clearing, and she said there's been times where she's been outside all day, and she had a ton of ghosts in her yard. She said she's been outside all day long, and then she walks inside and she feels so drained and she feels like she's been hanging out with somebody all day, like she's been around a bunch of people. That's because she was around these ghosts outside, and yeah, they were hanging out with her, but they were pulling down her energy. They were kind of draining her. So the second kind of spirit that we are, I'll refer to for ghosts is ones that are happy and friendly. And there are some that are protective spirits. So I've been in homes where there's been like a female presence that's really happy and bubbly, and you can tell that she is in that house protecting the family. And it goes for male ghosts too. Sometimes it's a former homeowner, sometimes it is the family member's deceased relative. If that kind of spirit is in your house, it's totally okay to leave them there because they're actually helping you. They're keeping out some of the bad stuff from coming in. And if you know what that feels like, it probably feels like just a happy feeling, maybe a little bit of a drain to you. You may feel it a little bit in your head or in your stomach or your chest, but overall it should feel a little bit lighter or more airy. The last one is, the unfriendly ghost, the ghost that is mean, that's angry, that has some sort of revenge or bone to pick. So I do see these kinds of ghosts a lot in people's houses, and I get them in my own home too. You will know if you are around that kind of ghost, or even a sad one that's got a heavy drain to it. You will feel it in your stomach. You may feel it in your head too. I get a lot of pressure in my head and a lot of pressure in my stomach, and just that nauseating feeling. And I'll tell you a story. So we live near Glenwood Springs, Colorado, and we went to this place. It's like a Western wear store, and I was asking one of the employees, what is it like to work here? Are there a lot of spirits here? And she started telling me ghost stories. And as she was telling me these stories, I swear these ghosts were like, oh, they're talking about us, cool. So they started coming over, and I started feeling them all gathering all around me, and my head felt like it was going to explode because a lot of these ghosts did not have good energy. And so I felt like my head was like turning into a migraine. I felt really sick. I thought I was going to throw up. So luckily I went outside and that feeling dissipated immediately. But that's how you know if you're around ghosts that maybe aren't so good to be around, that they're angry. Also, of course, there's those stories, and I'm sure maybe you've had this happen too, where you felt scared when something was around you. It felt really cold. You may have felt like you're waking up in the middle of the night and something is standing over you. Your animals might be scared. They may be watching something moving around and growling at it. You may have weird situations like toys or electronics turning on in your home, and you may feel like something is watching you. I even did a house clearing for a client who they swear something pushed them down the stairs. So those are ghosts too, and those are the angry, nasty ones. you want to get those out of your house, because in addition to draining your energy, it's not comfortable. It makes your house feel like it's not peaceful and safe. So those are ghosts. The next thing I want to talk about is these parasitic entities and energies, and I clear a lot of these out of people's houses. So what this is, and it's really hard to describe, but I'll do my best. When I see a dark parasitic energy or entity, typically I'll see it in several different ways. So one way, I'll just see it kind of like a black cloud, maybe something gooey or tarry on the wall. I may see it looking like maybe a spider or an octopus or something like that, that also looks like black tarry. And then the more scary, frightening ones look like a human, but not a human, like a figure. Sometimes no face, sometimes I see red eyes on them. And there's people that clients I work with when I do these house clearings, and sometimes they see something different than me, but typically this is how I'm seeing them. Sometimes they walk around and move, sometimes they stay in one place. So when I'm doing a house clearing, the way that I know that, besides looking in my mind's eye and seeing these things, the way that I know that somebody has this in their house is they tell me there's a spot in their house that they're scared of, or that their kids or pets are scared of. There's a drain, a real heaviness there, and they may be having nightmares. They may feel like something's watching them. They may have like depression or a lot of anger in the house. And that's just some of the ways. And you can watch my other how to know if you need a house clearing video for more information on that. But when I see these, when I sense these things, and I definitely get drained, but I will get an immediate gut reaction, like a nauseated feeling, and also a pressure in the head, but you can feel the energy. It's like a very heavy pulling down kind of energy when you're around these kinds of dark entities. So for you, you may feel this too, or you may just know there's a space in my house that looks like kind of shadowy in that corner, or I always smell something weird there, or I get a weird eerie feeling. That's what a dark entity, parasitic entity feels like. Sometimes they're not necessarily out to do you harm, but sometimes they are. And just their presence is doing you harm because it's draining you, it's making you scared, it's making your house not feel peaceful. So we definitely want to get rid of those. So I'm just going to say this, and I've said this a million times, do not try to get rid of these things on your own. Call somebody like me, an energy healer, a psychic medium, somebody who specializes in these kinds of clearings. Because if you try to do it on your own, it may retaliate and it may get worse in your house. And it may invite its friends in too, which is even worse. So those are the several kinds of entities. I will mention also angels, spirit guides definitely have a different feeling, and that feeling is more lightness, airiness. It's like a cool breeze or a warm breeze. You may see sparkly, or it may feel like the air feels like maybe sparkly or electric charged in a good way. And you may see different colors, like pastel colors, when they're around. But I know if an angel or a spirit guide is with me because I can feel it in the air. And then of course I can see them, but if you're sensing this in your own life, just know that you will feel the energetic difference. If you want to learn how to tap into that stuff too, send me a message, because this is another thing that I teach. So those are all of the different entities I want to talk about right now. There are other things that I have run into in these house clearings, but that's a story for another day. If you need help getting rid of these things, if you just want to know what is in my home and you maybe don't know if you need to do a clearing, send me a message, because I can also just get you that information and look into it and let you know. But your home should always be a sanctuary for you. And if you are sensing a lot of different things around you and you're not sure what they are, you probably need a house clearing. I hope this really helps you and gives you some information about what it's like to be around different entities and energies and spirits. Have a good rest of your day.